Hello humans, it's me again, and today I have a written report of a lot of the things that I did on my Houston mission trip, and I hope this clears up any questions you may have had about what happened there. Now this is only about what I experienced. I have not written anything about what I've heard or what other people did, so this is all mostly what I did. And I broke each day into 3 pieces. So let's start. Saturday morning at 3 a.m. I got to the airport to meet the group going to Houston. I was seated on the wing in the window seat, and next to me were Josh and Caleb. I fell asleep on the plane pressed against the window as I had not slept the previous night. After arriving in Houston, we rented 2 vans and were separated in two groups. The first place we went to outside of the airport was True Light Baptist Church. I got to meet the pastor and his family for the first time, and they served us breakfast. Saturday afternoon, after breakfast, we all got to help clean up the church inside and out. There are many jobs to do, and my job was to help pick up trash outside. My friend Jenna was the one who held the bag for me so I could put the trash in. After that, I helped clean up branches from around the trees after they were trimmed. The particularly difficult ones were the long springy ones that would not snap unless you bent them all the way back and pressed them down. After the branches were cleaned up, I helped paint the backside of a bench white. I didn't write this down, but after that, there were still some times I went inside and helped sort clothing. Anyhow, Saturday night, when we finished cleaning the church, we got back in the vans and checked into the hotel for the first time. I was in room 320 with my friends, Ashley and Liz. After that, I had Whataburger for the first time. As suggested to me, I ordered a patty melt using some of the money given to me by Pastor Bill. We went to sleep early that night as we were all exhausted from the long plane ride and then working in the heat at the church. Sunday morning, the first thing we did when we arrived at True Light Baptist Church was listen to a Bible lesson from Mr. Dan. After that, we quickly practiced a new song. After practice, we got to sing for the congregation. The 2 songs we had been rehearsing for weeks were Trust in You and Saving the Cross. What surprised me was the new song we had to sing that we only practiced once together. It was called Ever Rain. I also got to share a quick testimony before the first song, and I had never spoke to a crowd before, so I was nervous. Sunday afternoon, the church service was taught by Pastor Bill, and afterwards we got to sing Ever Rain once more. After the service was over, we decided to have our first restaurant lunch together. We went to Sweet Tomato, which is a salad buffet place. The funniest thing that happened there was when I went to get ice cream and found a huge glob on the collection tray under the soft serve dispenser. I think that maybe some little kid got to it. Sunday night, we got to go to a trailer park and hand out free food and talk to the people who lived there. Most of the residents spoke Spanish, so all I got to do was write down information given to me by my fellow group members. We got only partway done with one street as we had a few longer conversations with people who could speak English. After all that work, everyone was hungry, so we returned to the hotel area so we could decide where to eat as groups. This was when I chose to go to Whataburger for the second time and got the crispy barbecue chicken sandwich with the cash I had left over from the night before. That was the last time I ever went to Whataburger. I only went twice, and it was twice in a row. Monday morning, we had our first hotel breakfast, and it was delicious. They had cinnamon rolls, which I soon found out they would have every morning. On this day, half of our team went up to Gospel Lakes, which was a camp quite a few miles away. I, however, was in the other half of the team. A few people stayed behind to organize clothes that were donated because we were planning on running a free clothes drive / block party. I was with the larger group, and we went to fix a house that was damaged during the hurricane last year. At least one team had been in the house previously, but the first moment we arrived, It was surprisingly bad still, and hardly any progress was made on it. My task was to help sand the closet walls in one of the bedrooms. That was my first time sanding, and it went well. Monday afternoon for lunch, we went to Chick-fil-a, and it was raining very hard during the whole van ride over there, which was actually only a few minutes long. When we pulled up in the parking lot, we found part of the lot was flooded already. Fortunately, God stopped the rain when it was time to get out of the van. When we got back to the house, a lot of us continued sanding, but I was sent to work on the front yard. Originally, I was pulling weeds with my gloved hands, but when my current coworker went inside, I was given a chance to cut grass out of the cracked driveway using a steak knife with blades only on one side. I had fun swinging it like I was cutting grass for rupees. I didn't tell anyone that's what I was doing, but that sort of was what I was doing. Right before we were about to leave, the owner of the house showed up with her husband, and we took their picture in front of their house. Monday night, starting at about 3 p.m., similar to Sunday night, we went to the trailer park. This time, rather than giving free food, we put flyers at every door, advertising the free clothing giveaway that we would be having at the church the next night. After that, we returned to the hotel area and got into groups for different dinner places. I was with a group who decided it would be a good idea to cross the street to get to the Laredo Taco. That was near the hotel. Well, I tried to convince them that crossing the street was not a good idea, but they insisted. I can't go anywhere without a group, so we crossed the street. By the time we got across the street, the shop was closed. We went back across the street, and I went with the 4 kids who went to Jack in the Box. I got a salad there, but considered it teriyaki chicken bowl. I accidentally thought it was already Wednesday, but soon was corrected. Tuesday morning, this was the first day of sports camp, and we only had a few people in our group left, as our half had not returned from Gospel Lakes yet. We had to go around the apartment complex and ask people if they had kids that wanted to join. After knocking on a bunch of doors, we returned, and there were hardly any kids ready to teach. As I was assistant to an assistant, I did nothing. I was supposed to help with soccer, and we only had 1 kid for soccer. At that point, I decided I was done with sports camp. Tuesday afternoon, I don't quite remember, but I think this was the day that the church provided sandwiches and cookies and other treats for our lunch. And shortly after, the Gospel Lakes group returned, and we sung 2 songs in Spanish as a group. Tuesday night, we held the block party we had planned at the church, and I got to help give people bags to put their new clothes in. This one lady needed a ton of new clothes, so I went ahead and let her have a second bag to fill up, when all the other people only got 1 bag. There was still a lot of clothes left over, and so we had to carry it all back inside again. Afterwards, we went to Cracker Barrel for dinner, and I shared a meal with Jenna. Wednesday morning, because I didn't feel needed at sports camp, Miss Lisa, that's Pastor Bill's wife, asked me if I wanted to return to the broken house or not, and I said yes. Because all the sanding had mostly been finished, we were starting to paint a little in some rooms. This was the day I was taught how to paint a wall, as instructed by a young adult named Mark, who just so happened to be my secret prayer partner. Wednesday afternoon, my home repair group and I went to Jack in the Box for lunch. A few from my group went to the taco bus that was behind the building and ordered real tacos. I, however, ordered the teriyaki chicken bowl I was thinking about previously and had a peach Sprite with it. At first I thought peach Sprite would taste weird, but it is actually very delicious. When we got back to the house, that let me continue to repaint areas where the previous coat of paint was not quite good enough to hide the underlayer. Wednesday night, since we had tons of clothes left over, we decided to take quite a few bags full to the apartment complex where sports camp was held, and we set up a very large block party. While many people from my group were sharing the gospel, I watched the kids play. There were so many kids, and I could not watched them all. But out of the corner of my eye, I saw a young boy running towards the street. Before I could do anything about this, I heard a loud bang, and I freaked out because I thought the kid got hit by the passing cars. God protected the boy, and the only thing that got hurt was a soccer ball that rolled into the street that he was chasing after. I was happy to see that the kid was unharmed, even if we did lose a good ball. The party ended abruptly, and we had to pack up because a thunderstorm rolled in, and it is not safe to play in a thunderstorm. So we all got in our vans and we all went to CC's Pizza and ate as much pizza as we could. I had 3 slices, which is more than I usually have. Thursday morning, this was the last day that we got to work in the damaged house. While we unfortunately were unable to finish it, God gave us the strength to finish all the painting it needed, which really made the place look better. I went around on a rickety ladder and filled in any cracks or indentions with extra paint. This was hard because I had already filled most of them in the day before, but they reappeared and all had to be covered again. Thursday afternoon, we took a break from last paint touch-ups and stopped by a barbecue place called Triple J. As far as I know, it is a Christian restaurant. After we had made sure the paint job was as close to perfect as we could possibly make it, we had to say goodbye to that house as we would never see it again. Thursday night, even though I just had barbecue food, the entire mission group was taken to Saltgrass Steakhouse. There were just 2 conditions. We all had to order and drink as much water as we could, and if we were having anything other than a burger, we had to share with someone else to cut the cost. I got to share a fried chicken with my friend Haley, and it was pretty good. It still was rather expensive, but not as expensive as it would have been if we all ordered our own separate foods. By that point, we realized our trip was coming close to an end. Friday morning, rather than working all day, we got Friday the 13th off from work, and all headed to a really cool water park called Slitterbond, which is located on Galveston Island. Well, I actually cannot swim, and you would think a water park would be no fun without the ability to swim. But I had an amazing day on the lazy river / torrent river with my Aria. She held my float for me when we went through the rapids so that I would not fall off my float or drown. Friday afternoon, we were still at Slitterbond, but now it was more crowded than ever, and the sidewalks burned my bare feet as we walked from place to place. I wanted pepperoni pizza, but they ran out of pepperoni, so I just had cheese pizza instead. Afterwards, we went for our 5th or 6th trip down the lazy river. Because there were so many people in the park and they all wanted to be in the river, things became dangerous for me real quick. When we reached the rapids, a strong wave called me to surf over someone's head, as there was no room to move without crashing into someone else. Well, my float became unstable and dumped me into the water. I was frightened, and Daria had to hold my float and convince me that everything was going to be alright. Another wave was forming and heading straight towards us, and so I had to regain my seating in the float ring, which I actually did rather quickly, despite not being able to get in very quickly previously, and I was safe after that. After nearly drowning due to too many people on the same attraction, I gave up in the river and we rested on pool chairs for a little bit. Before we went home, I bought a t-shirt souvenir. I still regret not buying the fake My Little Pony that I saw in the shop because it was cute and funny. There's nothing I could do about it now because the past is in the past. Friday night, when everyone was dry, we headed to Walmart to buy our final gifts for our secret prayer partners, and I bought Mark taco shells, spicy taco seasoning, hot sauce, and baked lays. It actually took me 6 guesses to figure out that it was Liz who had been giving me gifts this whole time. I was surprised because previously someone told me that my SPP was probably a boy, so I was guessing all the boy names. Mark, however, knew right away that I was his SPP. That means secret prayer partner. Saturday morning, we checked out of the hotel and we went to True Light Baptist Church for the last time. We talked together for a while and shared testimonies before they served us lunch at 1 p.m. Saturday afternoon after lunch, which was catered from a barbecue restaurant, we sang songs and discussed our devotional book before saying goodbye to the pastor and his family. We decided to sing them our songs once again and then get pictures together. Saturday night, there was a bit of a situation where problem after problem started to occur, and I was not happy about it as I was becoming impatient. The gas pump did not work at first, so we spent much longer than we should have at the gas station. After that, we made the long drive to the airport, and after arriving, it turned out we were at the wrong lettered terminals. So we had to take turns getting in the extremely slow elevator and riding all the way to the basement. Unluckily for me, the subway to the correct terminals was taking forever. As a side note, there were no bathrooms on the lowest floor, which I thought was stupid. Before it was time to board the plane back to Maryland, we all got to spend the last of our church money on dinner. I got Panda Express orange chicken, broccoli beef, and fried rice. I took my leftovers onto the plane too. We had a coloring contest, but I lost because I didn't finish coloring in my picture in the 30 minutes they gave us. I had a harder to color picture than most of us did, though, so I thought that was slightly unfair. We spent the whole night flying. I was 3 rows away from the wing seat, seated with Liz and David. Sunday morning, we landed in Maryland at 12 a.m. When everyone got off and went to floor 2, a lot of the parents and families were there cheering on their kids, and I felt sad as I realized my dad was not there to cheer for me. Well, I was in for quite a surprise when we got to the first floor. My dad was there, and he brought my sister and mom. I was in tears as it was such an emotional experience being reunited with my family after being away for a whole week, and then fearing that they had not arrived yet. There is a video of my actual reaction to seeing my family again on this channel. Go see it if you'd like. The 2 things God taught me on this trip were courage and teamwork. Anyhow, if you were on the trip with me and liked this video, comment below and let me know. We were the greatest team ever. If you have any more questions about what may have happened on the trip, you can leave that in the comments as well. And if I get enough questions, I might make a sequel to this video. I don't know. I don't really expect to see that many questions. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. And remember to subscribe to the channel to see more videos in the future.